In today's video, we're looking at Practice 13 in the TABE Tutor Practice Math 1 workbook. That's a mouthful. So let's turn to our table of contents and we'll see where we need to find the lesson in the book. And it's multiples of fractions on page 28. So we are now moving into multiplying and then eventually dividing fractions. And we're moving through this workbook pretty rapidly. So practice 13 is dealing with multiplication of fractions. You do not need to find a common denominator if you're multiplying fractions. These were always my favorite fraction problems because they were, at least to me, they seem to be much less work than adding and subtracting. So I think you'll like these. If you weren't real fond of the last couple of videos, maybe these will be a little bit better. So to multiply fractions, you multiply top numbers, numerators, times bottom numbers. So top times top, bottom times bottom, and then you simplify. That's sort of the multiplication process in a nutshell. But if you have a problem like this one, where you have a fraction times a whole number, here's what I would advise you to do. Take your whole number and make a 1 on the bottom. So you're saying 7 over 1, that's the same as 7. 7 divided by 1 is 7, so we're not changing the value at all here. And then top times top, 1 times 7, bottom times bottom, 8 times 1, and that will not simplify. So the answer here, I was trying to draw a box around it. Circle will be okay. The answer here is 7/8, or C. So these, we're not worried at all about a common denominator. We're just multiplying top times top, bottom times bottom, or numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. The denominator is down. It's on the bottom. Okay, next one, number 2. Bill combines 3 cans of paint into a bucket. Each can contains 1/5 gallon of paint. So how many gallons are in the bucket? Now there are 2 ways that you can do this, and I'm going to show you both of them. Combines indicates building up, so you could say 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. Keep the common denominator 3/5. Or you can say 1/5 times 3. And remember, I put a 1 under there. 3 times 1 is 3. 5 times 1 is 5. But either way we go, we get A, 3/5 of a gallon. And you can do it either way that you like. This lesson is about multiplying, so we want to make sure that we know how to multiply. But you can also add if you like that better. Number 3. Each week, Abby practices violin for a 4th hour on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. How long does Abby practice each week? Well, we are building up, and so you could add if you wanted, but I'm going to say 1/4 of an hour. How many days? 4 days. So put your 1 under there. 4 times 4 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4, and that is equal to 1 whole hour, and that is C. Number 4, multiply. 35, I'm going to put a 1 under there, not over it, under it, times 1/7. So that's 35 over 7. And remember, when it's top heavy like that, we divide it. So 35 divided 7 is going to be 5 with none left over. It's an even division. So the answer here is 5. Number 5. Grace's hair grows 1/8 of an inch each week. How much longer is Grace's hair after 6 weeks? So we're going to say 1/8 times 6 weeks. And that's going to be 6 times 1 and 8 times 8. But you always want to simplify. And this one will go by 2's. 2 into 6 is 3. 2 into 8 is 4. So I'm looking for 3/4 or B. Calculator will take you right to 3/4 if you have access to it. Number 6. Multiply. 2/5 times 11. We'll put a 1 under there. So I get 2 times 11, that's 22. And 5 times 1 is 5. It's top heavy, so we want to divide it. 5 into 22 is 4 times with 2 remainder. So that is 4 and 2/5. Answer to number 6 is B, as in boy. Okay, number 7. Kelly runs 3/7 of a mile every day for a week. How many miles does Kelly run by the end of the week? Usually I would draw this one, but I don't have space. And I don't need to. I know that she's doing that every day, and there are this many days in a week. So I have 21 on top, 7 on the bottom. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And that's even. So my answer here is 3 miles. That's a total for a week. Number 7 is D. Number 8. Jack sends his 4 children to shovel snow from the driveway. Each child shovels 1/5 of the driveway. Is the entire driveway shoveled? So we're going to say 1/5 times 4. 4 over 1. So that's 4 on top, 5 on the bottom. So 4/5 of the driveway is shoveled. I am going to draw you a picture of this one. Here's the driveway. The driveway is divided into 5 equal sections. Pretend those are equal, guys. Actually, I need to do a better job there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretend those are equal. So here is one kid. Here's the second kid, because remember each of them are doing 1/5. But he needs another kid. He needs 5 kids for this to work out exactly. So is the entire driveway shoveled? No, because 4 times 1/5 is only 4/5. That would be A. I like that question. Makes you think. Number 9. Each week, Olivia saves 1/24th of the amount she needs to buy a car. How many weeks does Olivia need to save before she can buy the car? This one is just a logic question, really. What they're wanting me to do is to say 1/24th times some amount would equal the whole cost of the car. Now, if you recognize that it's 24, that's great. If not, you could plug in each of those answers to get what you need. But if this is the total number of weeks, she's going to have to save for 24 weeks. That one's almost one of those questions that it's so simple to solve that it's hard. It messes with my mind, with my thinking a little bit. So the answer to number 9 is A. Which two expressions have the same value as 12 times a third? Well, let's see what 12 times a third is going to be. That would be 12 over 3, or 4. So we want to know two of these that will equal 4. Well, this one's going to be 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 4. That equals 3. So that's not one of them. 4 times 3 is 12 over 3. That equals 4. That is one of them. 6 over 1. So 6 sixes are 36 divided by 3. That's 12. 6 over 1 is 12 over 3, which does divide out to 4. So there's the second one. 8 over 1 is 32 over 3. I do want to go ahead and show you how to do this one because this is important too, even though we have our two answers. 3 into 3 is 1 with none left. 3 into 2 is 0 with 2 left. So this is equal to 10 and 2/3. Definitely not what I'm looking for. And then this one is going to be 20 over 3. And let me work that one out for you. 20 divide 3 is going to be 6 times with 2 left, which is 6 and 2/3. So the two that we're looking for are B and D. Those are the two that equal 4. Number 11. Erin feeds her baby 3/4 of a bottle 5 times a day. So how many bottles does Erin feed her baby in a day? That would be 3/4 times 5 feedings. So 15 over 4 is top heavy. So let's say 15 divided by 4 is going to be 3 times with 3 left over. So 3 and 3/4 bottles. And number 11 should be D. Teresa knits 3/20 of a sweater every weekend. How much of the sweater does Teresa knit in 4 weekends? So we're going to say 3/20 times 4. And that gives us 12/20. That will simplify by 4. You can do it by 2, but you'll have to do a little more work. So that's 3 and 5. 3/5 of the sweater. I would go with B on that one. I hope that this will last long enough for me to finish my recording. That warning was saying that my disk is full. Rachel makes soup using a 1/2 cup chicken stock, a 1/2 cup cream, a 1/2 cup vegetable broth, and a 1/2 cup water. How many cups of liquid are in Rachel's soup? So that is 1/2 times 4. Or 4/2, which is 2. And that is answer B. A jeweler combines 4 pieces of silver. Each piece weighs 1/16 of an ounce. Does the jeweler have enough silver to make a 1/4 ounce pendant? So 1/16 times 4/1 is 4/16. That will simplify by 4 to give me 1/4. So yes, the jeweler does have enough. Number 15. Owen plays a video game in which health packs restore 1/6 energy. Owen uses 3 of the health packs, so how much energy is restored? 1/6 times 3 is 3/6, which simplifies to 1/2. So number 15 is D. Number 16. Which 2 of these represent this model? Well, each of these boxes has 1/6 shaded, and there are 3 of those. So 1/6 times 3 is 3/6, and that will simplify down to 1/2. So I can tell you that A is one of them, and I did 1/6 times 3, so I would go with A and E for number 16. Number 17. Maggie reads 4/15 of a chapter every 10 minutes. How much does Maggie read in 30 minutes? Well, let's take a picture here. Here's 30 minutes. Whoops, let me try that again. There's 30 minutes of the clock. So let's take this half of the clock, 30 minutes, and we know that every 10 minutes she reads 4/15 of a chapter. So that means I have 4/15 3 times. Okay. Or you could add those, 4/15 plus 4/15, however you want to do it. So I have 12/15, but that will simplify by a 3. So I have 4 over 5, or C. Pictures help me anyway. I hope they help you too. Number 18. Jason cuts a board into 7 pieces. So there's the board. He cuts it into 7 pieces, and each piece measures 1/7 of a foot. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me clean up my picture just a little bit. Rather than start over, I'll just take that off. So here's 1/7 of a foot, 1/7 of a foot, all the way up. So what would we need to do? We could add all those, or we can say 1/7 times 7 pieces is going to be 7 over 7, which equals 1 whole foot. And that is A. Now if you knew that without drawing it, that's fine. But I'm doing this for folks who may not see that without a picture. Number 19. Matthew stacks books into 7 piles. Each pile is 11/12 of a foot high, so 11 inches out of 12. What is the height of all the books? So you could add them, but I'm going to multiply them. 11/12 times 7, so that's 77 over 12. Now I know that's a tough one. This is a long division problem. So we have to do 77 divided by 12. And let me remind you how we work with these. 12 times 1. This one's a little bit tough to count on my fingers. If you know your 12s, you're in good shape. If you don't, just make a list over here. You can stop the video if you need to make your list. But this is a good review of how that long division works. Remember, we need to get as close as we can without going over. So 72 is looking like it. 9 is the highest I can go. So yeah, here we go. So then the number I'm looking for is right in there, so I'm going to go with 6. And 6/12 are 72. Subtract, and you get 6 and 5 over 12. And that is A. This is why we had to spend so much time on long division. If you have a calculator, you're in good shape. But if not, you have to know how to do those. Alrighty, in the next video we will start multiplying fractions times fractions. This is fractions times whole numbers, but we'll have fractions times